Do you want to get traditionally published and you're not sure exactly how the heck to find literary agents or small press editors? Well, today we're going to talk about some ways that you can find them. Welcome to The Right Mama. My name is Jennifer Aline. I am a freelance writer, the mother of twin girls, and my debut novel, That Age, is coming out before the end of 2020, unless... Because of the pandemic, we are still hoping my book will come out before the end of 2020. However, there was a pandemic this year, so if it doesn't come out before the end of this year, it will be the very beginning of 2021. If you want to get traditionally published, you have to have a literary agent or you have to query out small presses and get in touch with editors. But if you're somebody who's new to this whole publishing world, you may not know where to start. Today, we are going to talk about where you start when you're looking for these professionals. So let's get to it. The first one that we are going to discuss today, I am taking myself back, way back, over a decade-ish ago when I started querying my first manuscript. The first novel I finished, I started querying, and that's back when there was snail mail. You had to write on envelopes and send what they requested out. You had to actually physically go and get a book that told you what agents were taking your genre. This was called the writer's market. Back when I just started querying, I had so many of these super thick writer's market books that would tell you, okay, if your genre is fiction, here's all the subgenres. If you are writing for women's fiction, here are some agents who take that. That was how it was done. I mean, yes, back over a decade ago, there was internet, there was Google, there was some social media, but a lot of what you learned when it came to this industry was through physical books. And Writer's Market was what I used. There are still Writer's Market today. Those books are at Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can find them in lots of places, and they're very, very helpful books. But it can be a little bit difficult to truly trust the writer's market because one agent may say that they're open for queries for this long, but then they may stop querying, and then that book continues to say they're open. However, it's wrong now. Or maybe a small press is looking for a certain genre, and then by March they are no longer looking for it, but the book published it saying they are looking for that. It's different because it's a year of information when things change, as we know, a lot in a year. Number two is not as archaic, and there are a couple websites that have helped me, especially in the past, now that snail mail is behind us, and that is querytracker.com and agentquery.com. I have used Query Tracker quite a bit when it comes to querying books. Actually, go right on there and you can find the how, what they take, how long they're taking things for. There's a lot of information on that website, Query Tracker. Agent Query is just as informational. Informal. Or I should know these things, right? Query Tracker and Agent Query are awesome to use if you, I think, pay a little bit for it, which I never have. It can kind of take you a step further and get really deeper into the queries. You can get more information. But I always just looked on there, looked for who was taking what they wanted. It's important to write down, maybe on a separate document or in a notebook, wherever you keep this information, what they want. Let's say this one agency has an agent that is taking women's fiction, and they want you to send a query, synopsis, author bio, and 25 sample pages in the body of the email. You should write that down on a separate document to remember that. You do not want to copy and paste your entire manuscript along with your query letter and CC in a whole bunch of agents. That's what I did for my second manuscript. Don't do it. I've learned a lot since then, but I think it's pretty smart to find someone who takes what you're looking for, copy and paste it into a document or into a journal, and then go back, use that, and send the emails. Number three is the power of Google and websites. Really, I'm talking about look up the websites. And yes, you can type right into Google literary agents or small press editors, and you will find a ton of information. If you do type something like that in, go to the website, see what they're taking, what they want you to send. From there, put it on a document. I really think that's helpful. It's helped me a lot in the past. But going to their websites and seeing who takes what, maybe the kind of books they like for comp titles, compare titles. So when you get very personal with the agent or editor, you know what they want, and by really researching them, looking into, be helpful in the long run. Sometimes find what books they have sold and to what big houses, maybe one of the big 5 houses or maybe to a smaller press. You can usually look on their website and it tells you that. If it doesn't, that's okay. So if you go to their website, want to make sure they're legit. You do not want any vanity presses. We'll talk about that another time. You want to make sure that they have experience. How long have they been in the either publishing or writing industry? Again, you know, what books have they either sold or published? Do they have an educational background that supports what they're doing? So who you're looking for and who you're submitting your query letters out to, they know what they're doing. 4, conferences. I've talked a ton in the past about my amazing experiences with conferences. I've been to 2 Writer's Digest conferences and they were amazing. There were so many professionals in the publishing world there, from tables that would give you information about different associations and different self-publishing support systems, from small press editors to self-published authors to traditionally published authors to literary agents who have published numerous times through big 5 houses. So many out there when you go to conferences. If you're involved in a pitch slam at a conference, I've done 2. They were amazing. You go face to face with literary agents in the field. You get to meet them, sort of ish. You get to pitch your story to them. So going to writers' conferences or maybe weekend retreats or workshops with professionals who know what they're talking about is really helpful, and it will give you a nice list. Sometimes the conference or the weekend retreat, the team will send you information at the end. And also sometimes if you send your query letter to that team, they will send it out to the list of professionals that were there. They did that at Writer's Digest, which was awesome. Number 5, the last one, is social media. How can we forget that? 15 or so years ago when I queried for the first time and it was snail mail and stamps, we have social media now. We can go on Twitter. Twitter is huge for literary professionals. You should have a Twitter if you don't. There is PitMad, which is a pitch contest where I found my small press editor, or the editor found me. There's lots of different pitch parties and pitch events through Twitter where you can connect with those in the field. There's hashtags that will help you on Twitter connect with agents and editors. MSWL, Manuscript Wish List, is one where a lot of agents will put out what they're looking for. There's also the hashtag Ask Agent, where if you have a question and it says Ask Agent, they will answer that. And they also just answer a ton of questions that will be really good for you to know. Twitter is super helpful. Instagram is another awesome place to get in touch with professionals in the field. It may not be like Twitter, but you can connect on a professional basis. If you have a professional writing focused Instagram, that's usually pretty good, a good way to kind of show your professionalism when it comes to writing or your personality. Those were 5-ish different ways of getting in touch with literary agents and editors and professionals in the field. There are so many different ways. And like I said, Google, yes, it's magic. It's wonderful. But if you at least know some of these other little secret ways, not so secret ways, it'll be helpful. And like I said, I suggest having a separate document or separate folder on your laptop or tablet that has this information. So it's your go-to. That's what I've always done. I've always saved my list of agents. Of course, it does change because every year someone may not be there, or maybe they'll change what their focus is on, or they'll close for queries. A lot changes, but it's always good to have a list. You can start there, check up on them. If they're taking what you want, there you go. And I also would suggest sending about 10 or 15 queries out at a time, because if you get all rejections, that's okay. But you may want to look back and make some edits and then resend. Hope this was interesting to you and it helps you with your lovely querying adventures. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, comment, let me know if you know any other websites or any other connections or anything else that would help people out when it comes to querying people in the field. So thank you very much. Stay creative and drink your coffee. It's almost empty.